Okay, so maintaining stable hips when we're running and not allowing excessive shift left and right or sloppy posture to occur will help us stay injury free to get the Ks in, whether it be playing sport, on the pavement or on the trails. So I'm going to take you through my favourite trunk stability exercises for runners. Now, meaning we've assessed our trunk stability for an average level in symmetrical, maybe split stance, maybe we've taken it down a notch to half kneeling as well. But now I'm going to teach you some lateral and medial hip stability exercises and then some single leg exercises that we can do to help improve our efficiency when we're up in this bipedal stance. So before you get started on this, if you really want to dig into it, have a look at a thing called the bunkie test. Now you can test your different fascial lines within your body and find out what's weaker. So this is where I've been working with runners over time to actually isolate issues and things like that. So a lot of this stuff can be adapted, but you've got a cool little assessment you can do in the bunkie test to know if it's actually moving the needle with that stability aspect on your fascial lines. So side plank, lateral and medial stabilisation. So we're going to need, for one of the exercises, we're going to need a little bench here. Whatever works, you need to have your foot elevated on that. We're going to start with our medial fascial line, which is groin. If you end up with tight groin after running, maybe it could be a stability or strength issue, or tightness. So working out which is which and then applying the adequate mechanisms to fix that is super important. So we're going to be down in a side plank position with our foot on top of the box. So we're simply bringing this bottom foot in contact with the box if we can, or if we've got nothing to come in contact with, we just leave it suspended like so. And this is level 1. So we've got the band here for level 2. We can add a row into the mix here. So we're going for about 10 to 15 reps, maintaining contact at all times, and then we can break out from there. So without the band is level 1, with the band is level 2. Second one's that lateral line, which is the outside of your hip. So we come up into a side plank now and simply raise that leg off the box. Level 1's here, and level 2 is that row again. You might feel that cramp in that lateral aspect of your hip, and that is it trying to stabilise. So level 1 without the band, so you don't even have to have your hand on it. And then level 2 is adding that row component, so it's got that anti-rotation for the upper body in there as well. So adding layers of challenge as we progress and get competence there. The next one is the Pallof March. You may have seen this one from me before, but this is one I absolutely love because all you need is a band and an anchor point. And it's not our traditional march where we can brace and sort of fake our stability there. We get our fingers inside like so, where they're actually not gripping the band, and we only take just enough tension. Now the trick, we can start here if we really need to work on it, but then we get our arms to full elbow lock or full elbow extension, and we're raising like so. So the effort will come when you start to get away a little bit more, and that's trying to tip you in. So taking enough tension on the band where you can see the slack's gone from it, and we're raising. The moment we raise that outside leg, we can feel that trying to rotate us inwards. So if we look at that position, that's a great anti-rotation exercise we can do in standing to help get used to that bipedal activity. Now, we can continue using something like this step here, and we're going to do the next level of this fascial sling training, which is in standing and in that single leg stance again. But if we focus on this type of movement, we're going to raise one knee and we're going to row like so. So this is anti-rotation with the trunk, dynamic stability by using the band, and this foot up is just simply to touch back down when we lose balance. So we're not resting on it, we're simply setting ourselves up, making sure we're in a nice strong position, and then we raise that front leg and we're rowing like so. So as you can see, that position almost looks like running, doesn't it? So then we've got that anti-rotation and hip stability component built into standing. What we can then do is we can add some pressing into the mix as well. So different types of pressing depending on your level, and we only want a light bell or a light dumbbell. This is literally 8 kilos. So it's not about pressing lots, it's about pressing the right amount to get the right challenge on the hips. Particularly if we're running, we're going to have a lighter muscle mass sometimes, and it's not about lifting heavy bells overhead, it's more so providing the challenge for the hip and trunk stability component. So same again, we can have the down leg as the stable side. So this is teaching us to stay strong and rooted into the floor when we've got that leg up, and we're simply pressing like so. And we simply, if we lose balance, like I just did then, we tap down. It's not about perfection, team, it's about learning through the movement. So pressing like so. We can also do things like our bottom-up press, where we can get into position, nice and strong, crushing that bell, and pressing overhead like so. So our foot just taps down if we lose balance, and we go through there. So there's our press, which teaches that nice, strong, stable line down on that down leg. The final one is a single leg lift. So we can go back into that single leg stance again and bringing that weight, this is literally 4 kilos. I wouldn't go very heavy at all here. We're across the body and we're bringing it across. Now you can see someone who struggles with stability, like myself, really has to work. And I'm really working here. By transferring that weight across the body and back down, you're really challenging that hip stability and trunk stability throughout. Now, if you've got any recurring ankle issues or stability issues, like I've got a few issues with this ankle here, that if you're on recurrent sprains and a few ligaments that are torn, you can really see the challenge. And getting into that position requires a lot of attention, and you'll see that challenge going there. So there's some of my favourite trunk stability exercises we can use as runners or field sport athletes to help maintain stability in that single leg stance for those bipedal activities that help pay our bills.